welcome back to the channel. So last video we were getting the bathhouse leveled and on blocks and getting it at its final position, ready for the tongue and groove, and then more importantly having it leveled and placed so that we know where the drain's going to go. A little bit more on the drain a little bit later. It's just another case of overcoming setbacks. So it looks like, again, a dispute with the code enforcement on whether or not I'm allowed to put a gray water drain field in without a survey or a perk test or a engineer coming in and drawing up plans. And at the end of the day, at that point I may as well just put a septic in. So while we go back to the drawing board and try and get this all figured out, we're just going to adapt the plans a little bit. This whole setup was in preparation for being used as a 12-volt system, which eventually will be powered by solar, powered by the sun. But in the meantime, I can just use a battery with an inverter and use a generator to charge that. In that train of thought, I'm basically just copying a system that you'd see in an RV, or like what is down the trailer right now. So in lieu of gray water drain field, sorry about the wind, I have no idea whether or not that's going to affect everything, but I guess we'll find out in a little bit. We're going to just have a holding tank for our shower. I mean, we were always intending on using environmentally safe biodegradable soaps because of the gray water drain and everything involved with that. So we'll still be able to either recycle the water. In the wintertime, obviously we won't be recycling it, but we'll either be porting it back home. All right, that's more than likely what will end up happening. It's a bit of a pain, but when I snowmobile, right back to the same problem I had all summer. And the reason I needed that bathhouse was because I sweat, and when you're riding hard, you sweat profusely. Even properly layered with no cotton and moisture wicking fabrics, I'm soaked in sweat by the time I'm home for the day. And the last thing I want to do is climb into a nice warm bed freaking disgusting from sweat. So we need to get this shower. My wife wants the shower, I want the shower. So we're gonna make it work. We are gonna make it work. There's a saying in this family from way back when I was a little kid, and it's called, where there's a will, there's a way, and we're gonna find a way here. So it is a bit of a weird trip this time, because we're not going to be able to get the tongue and groove in. My wife and kids are back home this trip. This is a kind of a weird quick trip, so we're going to hold off on doing any of that. So this old girl, the Kubota 2501, is due for a bath. So she gets washed, she gets used hard all year long, and gets a bath twice a year. So once in the spring, and again in the fall, just before the ground freezes. I don't even want to scrape it because I don't want to scratch the paint. I can't tell whether or not you can tell, but this girl is dirty. She lives in the woods. It is what it is. And because of that, I want to finish the dirt work for the year. So the driveway needs some help before it freezes and I make it even worse, plowing and snow blowing all winter. So let's get the grading scraper out. Let's see about ripping some of these potholes and then seeing what we can do with grading. It's really difficult on this driveway because it's been so ill-maintained for so long. A lot of organic vegetation has built up on the center or the crown of the road, and it's difficult. It's wet. We're gonna end up just dragging dirt around, dragging matted grass around, but I gotta get it done. This is one of the last opportunities I'm going to have before I mow. This is going to be one of the last opportunities I have before I wash the tractor and get it ready for the winter. Oh. Trees knocking above me always scares me. You hear? Good Lord. All right, I'm gonna move. I don't know what that is. This tree, ask me why I did it. I don't know. This tree and this tractor shed's gonna be moving. So if I go underneath this tree and I point straight up, let's see, that's straight up. This tree is growing right over the tractor shed, and I'm not sure what I said to myself to convince myself that this was okay, but it's not. It's definitely not. So let's stop rambling on. Let's get the tractor out. Let's get the grading scraper all set up and ready to work, and then let's get to work. Okay, I feel like I need to clarify that in these tractor shots, I am checking the oil first thing. I'm just not showing it on camera. Like, you can trust me on that one. So we need a 2x4 because I didn't adjust the top link. I didn't adjust, so you need to adjust the top link and the side here in order to get the scraper here angled down, other way, like that, so that it's picking up more material from the side of the road and pushing it towards the crown, which is what we're looking for here with this grading scraper. This is a LandPride GS1560, specifically paired to the Kubota 2501, and this thing does a job. Now, it's not like a box blade where it's gonna grab and pull a whole bunch of material, but this will do a good job of leveling and grading a road. So let's find a 2x4 and let's get this thing ready to roll. Oh, we're gonna also have to put the rippers down for the first few passes. You can see here, I ripped the tooth off of one of them here last time I used it, and just haven't replaced it yet. I'll probably leave that one up so I don't damage the, although it looks like that tooth doesn't come off there, so I'm gonna end up having to replace the whole thing. Maybe I will put it down. So let's get this all set up. Hey, sorry, so I wasn't thinking that through. We need a level area over here around the scraper in order to set the angle, so we had to move it a little bit. So this is done simply. By putting a couple 2x4s under it. And then lowering it to the ground, making sure that yep. It's not very much, but it's enough that it bites just a little bit. So then, this crescent wrench has been in here all summer. Might go need some spray, but just to make sure that, see, that's got to be tightened a little bit. That top link I might need to move back a little bit. But really you just kind of have to play with it until you get to where you want it. So let's see what we can do here. Pretty happy with that link. Let's tighten this lock nut down. You get the picture. So I'll check back in once it's time to start grading. So here's the stretch we're going to work on today. I'm just going to try and section this off into the worst areas and just try to do a couple 100-foot square or couple 100-foot stretch at a time. So it looks like one of my neighbors has been putting gravel in the potholes, but as anybody knows, that will not fix the pothole. That will make the pothole worse. So there's a decent gravel base here, but like I said, because it's been so ill maintained, and it's not anybody's fault, it's just nobody has any equipment back here other than me and one other neighbor. But let's get the time lapse out and let's see if we can knock at least a few of these. Now it's gonna look a whole lot worse once I start working here, and it's gonna look a lot worse before it starts looking better. But once we get this ripped a little bit, and once we grade it, we can more than likely remove these potholes and let the rain do its job. So let's get to work and let's see how we make out here. we're looking pretty good. Actually looking really good. Let's get one more pass with the rippers, and then we'll get them put away so that we can get this graded final. It's going a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. Down here, we got to get all the largest rocks out because the scraper will just jump them, and when I jump them you lose all the material that you have built up to level everything out. Man, this is doing a good job. I think last time I did it was a little bit more muddy, and holy, so let's just keep at it. I'm not sure whether or not this shows up well on camera, but wow, what a difference. I ripped the potholes. You literally could feel the rippers grab and hold on every time I got to one of those potholes. They were just compacted in there so well. Let's see here. So we have now gravel and dirt. I mean, the dirt is just years of organic material just piled on and then left to decay. So this turned out 10 times better than it did last time I did it. I think it's because I had the grading scraper set up really incorrectly last time I did this, and I think getting that tilt to get the material to pull to the crown of the road is just, that's the bee's knees right there, because this is gonna make, now of course we got to go and get all these giant rocks out because my snowblower will eat those up pretty quickly early season until the ground freezes. So I like going through and getting all those out of here, because woo, shear pins, when you break one, it is terrifying, because every time I do it I'm like, oh crap, is it the transmission or is it the shear pin? So let's go up and down this slowly one time and get all these monster rocks, and then let's call this portion of this project complete.